Hey everyone, my name is Allie and welcome to my channel. So today we are going to talk about how to intermittent fast and intermittent fasting for beginners. I personally follow 16-8 and that's mostly what we're going to be talking about today. There are different ways to intermittent fast, but this is how I got started and what I do. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, comment below and I will get to those questions and answer them as soon as I possibly can. And I just wanted to thank everyone for following my channel. I really appreciate it and I am really excited to educate more people about fasting and the ketogenic lifestyle and the ketogenic diet because it's really been transforming my life and I plan to never stop because I've not ever felt this good and I think that so many people can benefit from this lifestyle and I think it's really important to get the positive and correct information out there because there's also a lot of fear mongering that revolves around these types of lifestyles. So a lot of people, if you don't know what intermittent fasting is, I will link my video for explaining it below. And also, I'll just give a little tidbit here. So intermittent fasting is basically an extended period of time in which you do not eat. So a healthy person, I 100% have no problem with doing intermittent fasting. If you have any medical conditions, please consult your healthcare provider. I am not a doctor and I cannot offer you any type of medical advice. If you are pregnant, I also do not recommend fasting or intermittent fasting. Personally, for me, I would have been a hangry monster when I was pregnant if I decided to fast, and I just don't necessarily think that it's that great for you if you're pregnant. But that's my personal opinion. So intermittent fasting is essentially where you rearrange your window of time in which you eat throughout the day and you have an extended gap. So for me, for example, I do 16-8. So I go through a 16-hour window of where I do not eat anything. And I eat all my meals within an 8-hour window. And that for me has been great. It works out well with my schedule. It works out well with having a, 7-month-old and being busy. And I just find that it has benefited me in so many ways. My skin is great. I sleep great. My energy is great. I've been losing weight and I am just excited to keep going. I've only been doing it for about a month and a half, and I can't wait to see how it benefits me long term. So there's also a lot of benefits. So you can hop on the internet and do a lot of your own research, but there's so many things like anti-aging, the energy, the fat loss. There's so many good things. I do not recommend intermittent fasting if you have a history of eating disorders because I do feel like if you are restricting yourself for a certain period of time, I think that's something that can bring on a trigger. So again, check with your healthcare professional, and that's just, my little spiel. So the reason people don't realize that we hold on to our weight or we gain weight or whatnot is a lot of the times our body has too much insulin and we spike our insulin with the carbohydrates and the food that we eat. So having that insulin spike causes your body to hold on to your fat. So when you don't have that insulin in your bloodstream, and that's what happens when you fast for an extended period of time, your insulin levels deplete, and it helps give your digestive system a break. It helps, with anti-aging. It helps with putting you into ketosis, and it helps with burning your fat because then your body's using your fat stores. So that's really important. So the most common and easy way to honestly get started, in my opinion, is with a 16-8 fast. Most people will do, like I said, the 16-8, and most people will stop eating after 8 p.m. and they will not eat again until noon. So right there is your 16 hours of not eating. And then from noon until 8 is your 8-hour window of eating. So for me, and most people, you do not decrease your amount of food when you're intermittent fasting. You tend to eat the same amount of food. You're just lessening the time gap in which you eat that amount of food. There's a ton of research, but the best way of eating and lifestyle of eating with intermittent fasting is low carb or keto. And I think a big part of it has to do with what you eat. And a lot of times with a keto or low carb lifestyle, you're not spiking your insulin as much because you're lessening the amount of carbohydrates and sugar that you're eating. They will say, a lot of research states that you can have less than 50 calories in the morning and you won't break your fast. For me, I generally stick with water or I use coffee or tea. So water's best, but I find that if I'm just drinking water, sometimes I will get hungry, but it is the best. And if you do coffee or tea, make sure you're not adding anything to that will spike your insulin. So, plain tea, black coffee, that type of thing. That's really important. Also, a lot of people recommend working out in a fasted state. And I find that in the beginning that was a little hard for me, but after your body adjusts, you find that you see the benefits of your workout a lot better. So pre-workout is also fine as long as it's not high in carbohydrates or sugar. For me, I don't personally use pre-workout anymore, but that is something that I would allow. And you'll notice in the beginning when you first start intermittent fasting that you might be hungry for the first few days, and that's because your body is releasing the hormone. I believe it's called ghrelin, and that is signaling your body that you're hungry. And after a while, your body will kind of adjust, and that ghrelin will, still show up, but it'll show up at a different time. So when you get used to eating at that noontime every day, you'll notice that you'll start getting hungry around the time you're actually supposed to eat. Whereas when you're getting used to it for the first few days, you will be a little hungry in the beginning, or a little irritable or cranky, hangry, whatever. But I found that, your body does adjust after the first, 3 days to a week. And I've noticed that my energy levels are so much better. I'm not even hungry in the morning anymore. And I've noticed the scale moving. So there's not a whole lot to intermittent fasting and getting started, but I do recommend starting with the 16-8. And like I said, the easiest way to do it is to stop eating after dinner and then, start eating again 16 hours after whatever time you start. It doesn't necessarily matter where your time frame is, like 8 to noon is just kind of what the basis for me, but it doesn't really matter where you move that window to, as long as your window is like the 16 hours and eating for the 8 hours. So that's pretty much that. And then I do use an app to track my fasting time because being a mom and being busy, I tend to lose track. So I use the Life app on iOS, and I find that really helps me. I click when I start fasting, and it keeps track, and it'll also send me a notification when it's time to break my fast so that I don't forget and just keep going. But that's intermittent fasting in a nutshell, and, there's a million resources out there that show the benefits and the research, and I really hope that you guys can, give it a shot and let me know and give me some feedback, and make sure you're staying hydrated throughout that time. It's super important. You can add like a little bit of lemon to your water or whatnot, but try not to add anything else. So you don't want to break that fast. You don't want to spike that insulin. So I hope that helped, and I hope you can get started and see those benefits and, give it a chance. So I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you all soon. Please do not forget to like and subscribe and share. And again, thank you for supporting my channel.